Hi guys, it's Boston.
Hi guys, it's Marky.
Today we are finally reacting to an over-researched dissertation on haobin, probably our favourite ship from Zero Base One. A lot of people have suggested, nah, they are actually given couple. They've not explicitly confirmed it, but these give the most spicy, most you can just see their chemistry and connection through ships like this. So now we're just gonna have a full breakdown of basically a dissertation on haobin. So let's get into it. Do one go.
오늘 내 차 탔잖아. 소감이 어땠어?
혼돈이 아브나.
난 잘해.
드라이브
영어
라이센스.
Love?
나는
만감부. 그 뭐야?
많은 관심.
Today's video dives into one of my all-time favorite rabbit holes. It all started with the K-pop survival show, Boys Planet. The show featured 98 boys locked inside the infamous
That
net
is
dungeon,
crazy,
forced to
98.
compete through a series of intense challenges and missions just to earn their spot in the iconic group that would become Zero Base One. From the very first episode, this show felt different. Whether it was because of some seriously talented contestants, you could argue that Pentagon's Hui was overqualified, or some truly questionable performances. But beyond the quirks, the show was just genuinely good and really fun to watch. As the show progressed and Zero Base One officially debuted, two other members quickly gained attention for their unique bond: the legend and history maker Hao and Korean dance master haobin. I'm not saying they're in a relationship in real life. Lord knows that's their business, not ours.
That
But
is
together,
true.
haobin has certainly given fans plenty to analyze and pick apart. So, in this video, we're going down that rabbit hole to see where it takes us.
Let's go.
Before we jump in, I want to say this up front. Shipping can easily cross into invasion of privacy. It's a fine line between harmless fun and making someone feel uncomfortable, and
Remember
it's
that,
crucial to be
guys.
mindful of that. Later in the video, I'll share some things Hao has specifically told Chinese fans during fan signs. But it's important to recognize that some of the questions haobin fans have asked, especially those talking to Hao, can get really invasive and uncomfortable. Hao does a good job setting clear boundaries, but unfortunately, that kind of behavior can be damaging, not just for the idols, but for the fan community as a whole. So let's keep this in mind. Until haobin themselves confirm anything, this is still just a theory. Maybe one with a lot of evidence, but not a confirmed fact. Also, I want to mention that as of the time of writing, Never Say Never hasn't come out yet, but by the time that the video comes out, I am sure it will have. So for context, this video won't include any of the moments for this newest era, but if anything crazy comes out, then I am very likely to make a follow-up, so let me know if you'd be interested.
They do look cute together, not gonna lie. Backgrounds, how?
Okay, before we dive into where Hao and haobin's story really begins, I want to take a moment to talk about where each of them comes from. I think it's kind of essential to understand their backgrounds because it helps explain why fans have become so deeply invested in their story and the dynamic of haobin, not just as a potential couple, but as literal soulmates.
Okay.
Zhang Hao was born in Nanping, Fujian.
Soulmates.
Nanping isn't a huge city like Shanghai
he's
or Beijing. Fujian is generally a
Chinese.
wealthy province, but unlike the other Zebuan Chinese member Ricky, Hao grew up as an only child in a modest household, where he learned to push himself and always do his best. At school, Hao stood out, finishing high school at 16 and then enrolling in one of China's top universities to study geology. Hao wasn't really
Damn.
passionate about geology, especially after he saw a choreography video by Leah Kim and fell in love with K-pop dance. That inspired him to start dancing himself.
I'm assuming she's a really respected choreographer in the industry. Okay, girl,
When he
get
moved into the
into it.
university dorms in a fancy part of town, he was surrounded by classmates from very wealthy families. Around this time, he also fell in love with the violin. Drawn to the instrument and music,
Oh yeah, I
Hao
remember
started
seeing that
taking
on
part-time
the
jobs,
guide.
playing at weddings for rich people, and even performing at malls to make extra money. Eventually, he made the bold choice to drop out of geology.
Okay, Hal, you better play that violin.
It's crazy.
And so talented.
Around the same time, Hao found out that the CSATs, the notoriously difficult Chinese university entrance exams,
He
were
sat
just
them.
around the corner. Without missing a beat, he dove headfirst into studying and crammed like crazy. A few days later, he sat for the exam and incredibly ended up scoring the highest in his entire province. which has a population of around 40 million people. It was a jaw-dropping achievement, and with that insane score, Hao got accepted into Fujian Normal University, a highly respected school. He decided to pivot to music education there, eventually earning a teaching certificate to become a high school music teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Zero Base Zone is probably the only K-pop group that includes both a current high school student and a certified high school teacher in the lineup. Not long after starting university, Hao also joined Yuehua Entertainment and began training for his pop debut. He trained for just over a year, 1 year and 3 months to be exact, before making his debut on Boys Planet. It was a quick but intense journey that would launch him into the spotlight.
You better whack, you better vote, you better tut.
Hao really is the blueprint. In my opinion, he's done a lot to improve the image of Chinese idols, and even Chinese people more broadly, in Korea. Over the past few years, the reputation of China among Koreans has taken a hit, especially with the impact of COVID-19. On top of that, a whopping 89.4% of surveyed Koreans say their negative perception of China stems from the country's connection to Korea's air pollution and fine dust,
Oh, damn.
75% of which comes from external sources, with China being the main contributor. To put things into perspective, back in 2015, only 37% of Koreans held a negative view of China, but by 2022, that number had skyrocketed to around 80%, the highest it's ever been. So for Hao to rise to popularity in this climate says a lot. Despite tensions and stereotypes, Koreans still showed up to vote Jang Hao in as the first foreigner to win a K-pop survival show.
Okay.
That's no small feat.
They place first.
I'm really getting emotional over just watching that.
He gets emotional very easy, guys.
It's actually a bad thing.
Look at
It
it.
needs to stop.
With the music as well. If it was like sad music, I'd be like, oh, sad.
This music's beautiful.
He's tearing up to this music.
Since debuting as the center of Zero Base On, Hao has been busy and showing his star power. He's been very well received in Korea, especially by netizens. Right from the start, Hao gave a great solo violin performance at the 2023 Mama Awards, which is impressive, especially since it's rare for rookie idols to get solo stages that early.
He did that.
What's more, Jang Hao also released an OST for one of Korea's most viral and beloved dating shows, Exchange 3. Not only did the song chart on the Circle Chart and Billboard World Digital Song Sales, but it also won the OST Popularity Award at the Blue Dragon Series Awards, which is basically Korea's version of the Oscars. That win made Hao the first non-Korean artist to ever take home a trophy from the event. Pretty iconic, right?
Yeah.
And the momentum hasn't stopped. Hao's been showing up everywhere, from magazine fashion spreads to one of Korea's biggest media outlets, Ilgan Sports, even calling him a rising blue chip in the entertainment industry. That's essentially like saying he's one of the hottest stars out there right now. The term actually comes from blue chip stocks in finance and refers to a celebrity who's considered high value and in serious demand. For a company to qualify as blue chip, it reportedly needs a net worth of $62.5 million and $89 million in revenue over 6 months.
Damn.
On top of that, Hao's really endearing, both visually and personality-wise. During Boys Planet, there was an article making rounds because netizens were losing it over Hao's stunning visuals, calling him both handsome and pretty. And he's grown so much since then. His Korean has improved a lot, and he's become such a well-rounded performer that you'd think he's been doing this for a decade. It's been amazing to watch him level up step by step.
우스클 차트 뮤직 어워즈에게 감사드리고 그리고 스태프분들 감사드립니다. 그리고 우리 제로즈
Hanbin.
It's so good looking.
Like where Hao grew up. Tae-rae, who would later be in Zero Base 1 with him, is also from Cheonan. The city isn't too far from Seoul, which was helpful when Hanbin moved there a few years later. He grew up with his younger sister, a professional rock climber who was 4 years younger than him. In middle school, Hanbin discovered his passion for dance, especially styles like walking and tutting. Soon,
Mother.
he was competing in dance contests across Korea and making a name for himself.
He looks so different pre-debut though.
Literally. People were saying as well, like,
He's
I've got,
I think he might got a nose
I
job.
think he's just lost a lot of weight in his face.
I think he's got a nose job. His nose looks a bit too perfect. That's a different person.
After high school, he
know.
was accepted into the highly competitive K-pop performance department at Dongha Institute of Media and Arts. Only a few hundred students make it in each year. And there, he really began to hone his craft. He also worked hard on his health, losing a significant amount of
His
weight at
nose
that
is so
time.
small.
Hanbin's transformation
I
into
don't
one of
know.
5th Gen's standout visuals is seriously impressive. and his approach to healthy dieting is both thoughtful and encouraging. While studying in Seoul, Hanbin joined Cube Entertainment, where he met his now fellow groupmate, Matthew. Around that time, his mom opened a cafe, and Hanbin even got his barista license, just another skill to tuck under his belt.
With a license to be a
Being part of a
barista.
big company like Cube, not that it's particularly big these days, didn't guarantee a smooth ride. After waiting endlessly for a debut that never came, Hanbin decided to leave, realizing he couldn't keep putting his dreams on hold for an uncertain future. Instead, he poured that frustration right back into what he knew best: dance. Already respected in the competition circuit, Hanbin soon broke new ground by becoming the first male member of the all-female crew, led by Spella, one of K-pop's most legendary choreographers.
Yeah, he does look like a different person. So impressive though.
At this point, Hanbin also began training privately under Ibada, who is basically royalty in the Korean dance world. At that point, Hanbin had stepped fully into the professional dance world, teaching classes and performing as a backup dancer for some of K-pop's biggest names, all while still juggling school. Like, imagine dancing behind Wanna One for Boomerang in 2018, then returning a year later to hit the MMA stage with BTS for their explosive Dionysus. Performance, not bad for someone who walked away from the traditional idol trainee path.
Was he the only boy? No.
Yeah.
Two, isn't it?
No, not this. For the original groupie. I think she was
When
just a
Boys
really
Planet
big
was
name
announced,
in the
Hanbin saw
K-pop dance
one more shot,
community.
and he wasn't going to take it alone. He called up Matthew, who at the time was also feeling unmotivated and disheartened by his delayed debut. In fact, he was literally packing his bags to go back to Canada.
Oh,
But Hanbin convinced him to
damn.
apply for Boys Planet and give it one last try.
But
They're both quite in.
the
Post-debut,
Matthew has
Hanbin's
Hanbin
proven
a
he's made for
thing.
the K-pop industry.
Don't
Not just with
go.
his standout vocals and dance skills, but also with his cha-on-u-like visuals and polished picture-perfect idol manners. He's quickly becoming one of the most in-demand hosts in Korea, having already hosted Island 2, Street Woman Fighter World Championship, and the Asia Artist Awards.
Okay,
Right
you
now,
better
he's
get that
also hosting M
presenting
Countdown every
gig.
week with Boy Next Door's Myung Jae-hyun, proving he's got both staying power and versatility. For fans who have shipped them from the start, Hao and Hanbin have become an unbeatable duo. But before they could make it into Zero Base 1, they would have had to survive the hell that was Boys Planet.
The hell.
아마도 너와 나 거슬러 경계를 넘어 우주를 건너 서로를 발견하기 위해 시간을 너 빛의 속도로 달려온 걸지도 몰라.
You talking about each other?
나 우린
Planet plane.
Entering as rivals in episode 1, Hanbin immediately grabbed attention with his solo dance battle, even challenging and beating the show's dance mentor Lip Jae and his insanely good audition performance. I can't emphasize enough how crazy it was that Sung Hanbin's audition was literally choreographed by Ibada. Meanwhile, Hao wowed everyone and stood out among the foreign trainees with his stunning violin skills. From the very beginning, they both stood out as born to be idols.
Hey.
Literally.
당신의 눈동자의 건데.
But despite being arguably each other's biggest competitor, something unexpected began to unfold between Hanbin and Hao. Between their first stages and the theme song recording, when they found themselves alone in a hallway, Hao reportedly walked up to Hanbin and quietly confessed that he'd voted for him as the Korean visual.
Okay.
Hanbin smiled and admitted he'd done the same. That brief exchange sparked a deeper conversation, and as they talked, they discovered that they had both dreamed of becoming teachers and shared so many interests that Hanbin later said, "It felt like I was talking to a mirror. I opened my heart 100% for the first time." He even described it as love at first sight, telling fans, "Out of those 50 foreigners, once I saw Hao, no one else existed."
Oh.
Their bond only deepened from there. When a fan later asked Hao if it was love at first sight, he laughed and said, "Everyone agrees." Something Ricky also has chimed in to confirm about his fellow members. Back in Boys Planet, before Hao and Hanbin filmed the very first theme song performance, they took a break for the now iconic haobin TikTok outside the dorms. At the same time, Hanbin was confessing in a behind-the-scenes interview that his ideal date would be seeing the cherry blossoms, only to realize there was a giant tree right outside Hao's building. Reportedly, Hao invited him to check it out, and according to the stories they've shared, that quiet stroll beneath the petals was when everything clicked. Hanbin even keeps a Polaroid of that day in his bag to this very day. Not long after, it was time for a dance battle.
Oh, they have
Hao
to clock
challenged Hanbin
back
in
in.
sweating, blowing him a kiss, and Hanbin sent one right back, forming the now legendary Hanbin heart.
안에 저희 멤버들 사진까지 있는데 데뷔 초반에 규빈이랑 하오 형이랑 예전에 연습생 때 찍은 포스 똑같이 찍어가지고 한 것도 여기는 기념으로 보이즈 플래닛 촬영 장소에 다녀왔거든요. 그때 하오 형 거 뭔가 시기나 이런 거 별로 다 정리를 해놨어요. 이거는 하오 형이랑 찍은 인생 내 거죠.
When it came time to choose teams, Hanbin, last to pick, deliberately joined Hao's tomboy crew, even though the vocal part didn't exactly match his usual strengths. During practice, Hanbin helped Hao with his rap pronunciation, and in one behind-the-scenes clip, he leans in and presses his cheek to Hao's. When Hao teased, "Don't do that to anyone else, only me," Hanbin just grinned.
You better not be flirting with anyone else. Okay.
Their bond grew even stronger during the now famous laundry room moment. Before their performance, Hanbin took the time to comfort an anxious Hao, offering quiet reassurance that helped steady his nerves. Later, when Hanbin himself broke down on the stairwell, it was Hao who gently led him off camera to the empty laundry room, comforting him in one of the only rooms that didn't have cameras.
Oh.
Afterward, Hanbin returned the kindness by giving Hao a massage, and before they parted for the night, Hao tucked him in and affectionately patted his head. Hao later described this as the turning point in their relationship, remembering how, throughout the show, they would deliberately choose to walk to the farther laundry room just so they could spend a little more time together talking. On stage that night, Hao turned to Hanbin and said with a smile, "Let's debut and drink zero cola together." Although the competition placed them on opposing teams for the mission, backstage, Hanbin gave Hao the name tag from his school uniform outfit, a Korean tradition symbolizing a love confession. And Hanbin even helped choreograph the
Oh, yeah,
All-New
like
dance break,
on
despite
Oliver's
technically
Are
being
Dead.
rivals. After Hao publicly thanked him on stage, they shared a warm hug as Hanbin celebrated securing yet another first-place win.
같이 매일매일 제로 콜라 마시. 아름다운 투샷이다.
For the finale's theme song performance, Hanbin and Hao made a subtle tweak to their iconic bridge choreography. While the original choreo has Hanbin and Hao facing off, almost as though they are fencing. In the final performance, Hanbin instead drapes his arm around Hao's shoulder. When the top two finalists were announced, and it was confirmed that they both made it, you could see the absolute relief rush over their faces, sharing the hug scene around the world. Gripping each other's jacket, every fan whipped out their phone to record as Hao seemingly whispered, "Thank you, I love you," before brushing Hanbin's neck with a kiss.
첫 번째 후보
All these fans.
When Hao's name was finally called as the winner, he first looked at Hanbin, thinking it was him who had won. Only when Hanbin gently corrected him did Hao realize the truth, and he burst into tears. Staff members tried to separate them as they walked to their seats, but Hao whispered something, and Hanbin, at first shaking his head, took his hand, walking up together despite the staff's annoyance. Sitting center stage, Hanbin told Hao, "This seat, first place, suits you."
So they're both first place.
I think so. Post debut.
For fans, Hao and Hanbin's story throughout Boys Planet was like a movie. Falling in love at first sight, rivals to soulmates, it read like the best rom-com of all time, especially with that movie-like finale. After the intense emotional roller coaster of Boys Planet, fans were buzzing with excitement, eagerly awaiting what would come next for Hanbin and Hao as Zero Base Zone made their debut. But soon, whispers began circulating about what some called the haobin drought. Rumors spread that, starting as early as week 1 post-debut, staff were deliberately trying to keep Hanbin and Hao apart, whether on stage, in interviews, or behind the scenes. This perceived distancing left many fans feeling frustrated and confused. One fan even tweeted, "I have honestly reached my limit, but I'm holding on for the boys." Every day, Wake One is leading the group to its downfall. The mistreatment, homophobia, xenophobia, lack of promotion, restrictions, management, overwork, etc. are obvious, and we can't even do anything to help. Yet despite the drought, the In Bloom era turned out to be a treasure trove of iconic haobin moments. For example, Hao hilariously mimicked Hanbin's famous mother dance during their first original variety content program,
Mother.
and together they gifted fans with their now legendary ASMR video.
Just kiss already!
Between the In Bloom and Crush eras, Zero Base One's first overseas trip to Paris became legendary for Haobin fans, especially thanks to a vlog capturing Hanbin telling Hao, "Hao, you suit Paris," with Hao instantly replying, "I suit Hanbin." Hanbin even seemed to have kissed Hao's arm at one point in the video. Hao later shared a touching story from the group's Seine River cruise at this time, where a stressed Hanbin leaned on him for support, and fueled by champagne, Hao ended the night a little tipsy. Their sweet bond extended to the flight home, where Hanbin shared his food with a sleepy Hao.
Get into it!
한숨 쉬어.
Was he hungover?
한숨 쉴 수 있잖아. 어제는 항상 알려. 지금 뭘 먹고 있어?
Offstage, their closeness was clear, as at the Street Man Fighter finale, Hanbin introduced Hao to his dancer friends, and on the variety program, One Night, 2 Days, when asked who they'd introduce their sister to, everyone picked Hanbin except Hao, who said he'd choose Matthew because Hanbin was his.
친 여동생이나 누나가 있다면 소개시켜주고 싶어 할 멤버.
이거 아 하우 형 뭐예요? 왜? 아 이거 스파이.
By now, all the members have started
He's like, you
and although
don't know
syncing their very different lifestyles
anything.
was a huge challenge at first. Especially considering how diverse this group is in age and cultures, they managed to work through it. Fans also began to notice and piece together the many fascinating dynamics within the group. Take Hao and Hanbin, for example. They've shared glimpses of their nightly routine, which includes sipping zero cola and tea before bed. Hanbin prefers tea, so Hao happily joined him in the ritual. Beyond that, it's been revealed that the two often stay up late talking, take long nighttime walks alone, and sometimes go on spontaneous late-night drives together. Sung Hanbin even rents a car just for the two of them every now and then, like during their Jeju trip with Jubin. Over time, their bond deepened naturally, and their lifestyles started to blend seamlessly, so much so that when it was time to switch dorms, Hanbin, Hao, and Jubin ended up staying together.
어제요? 응. 아 맞아요. 아까 갔다 왔어.
전날에 할까 좀 싸울까?
유진이 그 뭐야 수능 도시락 싸줘야 되잖아요.
아 야 진짜
한강.
오.
As their closeness became more obvious, fans started paying closer attention, and Hao, never shy when speaking Chinese, began sharing more details during fan calls and interviews. Not to be outdone, Hanbin also opened up, especially about how much he values Hao. He revealed that when they first met, he wanted to communicate better so badly that he bought a mini Chinese book to study from.
Bless.
It clearly
So
paid off.
cute.
Hanbin's Chinese has noticeably improved. Hao also shared that they've taken many photos together, but rarely upload them because the dangerous level is high. According to Hao, Hanbin has a habit of sleeping on his stomach while hugging the person next to him. He added that their closeness is unique. I want things from him, and he wants things from me.
And they're like, what things? What things? These are going too fast, guys. What do they mean, dangerous level?
But one of the most romantic moments, in my opinion, came during the promo content for, if I'm remembering correctly, the Mama Awards. In the clip, Sung Hanbin is asked to say something to the one who made your heart flutter. Now technically, this message is meant for the fans. However, the way Hanbin delivers his words and the very specific references he makes make it feel like he was speaking to someone much closer. He starts by saying, "You know, it's been a year already since we've walked together," which seems to be a direct nod to that unforgettable moment when they walked up the stairs of Boys Planet together after their win. Then he goes on, "But what hasn't changed is the support and love that we have for each other. In the future, I hope we continue to fill our time with such moments and support each other even more." He finishes with, "When times get tough, I hope we can think about each other and hold out better. And every day without fail, I want to tell you that I love you. I love you." Whether it was intentional or not, the specificity and warmth of his words made it feel like a beautiful love letter.
어쨌든 우리가 벌써 같이 걸어서 1년 정도 시간이 지났는데 대단히 없는 건 서로 응원하고 사랑 중.
Matching necklaces, just like us.
그 제로즈 분한테는 아마 그래서 저는 한빈이의 1, 3 모습이 더 좋습니다. 1, 3 모습 본 적이 없잖아요. 한빈이는 숙소에서 옷을 안 입잖아. 약간 숙소 자체 콘텐츠가 뭔가가는 요즘에 나중에 작건 언젠간 기대해주세요.
Plus, Haobin performed a dance cover of Tyla's Water right in front of a fan-made Love is Love poster placed near their company, a detail Hanbin pointed out in the video. This moment came not long after he casually mentioned on a variety show that in his opinion, love often blossoms in the practice room. That comment hit differently considering a behind-the-scenes clip had recently surfaced of Hao kissing Hanbin on the cheek in, you guessed it, the practice room.
Oh.
And the tour was full of different Haobin moments, like Hao jokingly kissing Hanbin's lipstick mark on the Over Me ribbon, and Hanbin forgetting his line because he was so mesmerized by Hao. But one of the biggest moments came at the W party, where the two were inseparable, sharing drinks, gossiping, probably about the ongoing Rise situation, and showing obvious chemistry. Hao looked visibly jealous when Hanbin was greeted by the boys Young-hoon. But the night really went viral after low-res photos and videos surfaced, showing Hao sitting on Hanbin's lap, Hanbin leaning his champagne glass on Hao's leg while Hao stroked his head. At one point, Hanbin leaned toward Hao's chest before Hao eventually got up.
Oh, damn.
So, if all this is just fan service, it's some of the most dedicated and genuine fan service any fandom has ever seen.
If it is just
The
fan
bond between
service,
Zhang
I'll
Hao
give
and
it to
Sung Hanbin
them.
has only grown stronger this year, and it's that openness that continues to draw people in. Take one fan sign, where a fan joked about shipping them, and instead of shying away, Hao joked, "Then you should bump into things. Ship us even more." They have even recently started joking about being like a married couple. And Hao has spoken a lot about Hanbin's psycho-like eyes that he only uses on Hao. What makes these comments all the more striking is the context. In the K-pop world, especially in South Korea and China, idols are usually expected to keep a clear divide between their personal lives and their public image. That's even more true when it comes to anything that might be seen as challenging traditional roles. And yet, Haobin doesn't seem too concerned about playing it safe. Because of this, many fans see them as quietly pushing against the boundaries of what's considered acceptable. But at the same time, there's a sense of unease. Others worry that being so open could eventually come at a cost, especially given how conservative their environment can be. These concerns have become more pressing as speculation grows about ZB1's long-term future. The group's contract is currently set to end in January of next year, leading to questions about possible disbandment or contract renewal. While Hanbin has spoken positively about continuing as a group, there have been mixed signals. Despite Hao and Hanbin mentioning that they, as a duo, want to buy a house and dog together, fans ultimately have no idea what is coming for this group. Adding to this uncertainty are growing concerns about the way Wake One, ZB1's agency, is handling Haobin's public image. Fans have pointed out moments where the company appears to downplay the duo's popularity and chemistry, like not pairing them in promotional materials despite their winning a poll for the most iconic idol duo. These instances have led to accusations of homophobia and deliberate distancing, further complicating how Haobin is
I
presented.
thought I gave up with trying to
But what do you
like
think about
hide
this
it.
duo? At what
I
point does
thought,
fan
yeah.
service become something more? And who gets to decide that line?
But still, the
Could Haobin's
management and
openness
company
signal
is
a
still
shift
going
in
to do
how
the
K-pop
best
allows
to
idols to express affection
keep
or
every fan
vulnerability?
pleased.
Or are they an exception? Is it possible for fans to support Haobin's closeness without projecting too much onto them?
Yes.
Please let me know in the comments below. Plus, drop some other idol stories you'd like me to research and
It's
explore.
just when
Until
people
next
take
time.
it too parasocially and get weird with the ships
Say
and
that
stuff
they
like
know
that.
them and
Yeah.
like, start speaking as if it's a fact.
Yeah. Hey guys, so that over-researched dissertation on Haobin is done. There was some bits that were a bit too fast where we couldn't catch it, but I think it was good that we seen pre-debut Hao, pre-debut Hanbin, survival show Haobin, post-debut Haobin. It's like a good little overview. A lot of people have said there is better videos of them just literally not explaining the ship, but literally visually seeing it for yourself. That some of these ships and some of the spiciness. But we did also want to say as well that when we watch these ships, we literally watch it for entertainment purposes. Obviously, because we're a couple ourselves, we just think it's cool that we enjoy K-pop and some idols like not so much so open about who they are and just how they are, but like these two, they said that they're basically just quietly pushing the boundaries
Yeah,
and
whether
we're not
they're-
like being weird about it. It's just nice to see. It's just some fun to watch as well.
Whether they're in a relationship or not, or if it is just an
Fan
amazing
service.
friend or just a very close friendship.
Yeah.
Like people can be that close. We don't watch videos like this and just automatically think they're in a couple. They're trying to hide it. We
Yeah.
know, like we
And there'll
know
be some bits where
don't.
we're like, "Ooh, what do you mean?" But like, it's just a bit of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of you know that by now,
And
but
even with boys anyway, you do joke about stuff like that.
yeah,
I've like it's just can be considered as a
yeah,
joke.
yeah. But that's where we do draw the line about a lot of fans and just a lot of people in general being very, very parasocial,
Mhm.
acting as if they actually like we don't know these guys. We're just seeing it from their public image, and we just need to keep it like that. Do you know what I mean? It's just nice to see these different ships and different relationships from a fan point of view, but when people go dive into it too much and they want answers and they want this and they want that, it just gets too much because like
Yeah.
the celebrities at the end of the day and we're just enjoying content that's brought to us.
Yeah.
But also guys, a lot of people over here on YouTube and Patreon have suggested other videos for like better ships and stuff like that. So if you have any in mind, please drop them in the
Please
comments.
do.
But expect to see a lot more ZB1 content coming very soon. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Catch you in the next one.
Bye guys.
Bye.